Welcome back to classroom setup for the 26-27 school year. I am a first grade math, science, and social studies teacher in a departmentalized building. This will be my 5th year in the building. However, I am anticipating a lot of changes this school year, but the gist is that half of our staff is new, and so is our entire admin team. And I'll let you read between the lines on that one. So, a little bit of like a tumultuous school year last year, but looking forward to a fresh start this year, a lot of new faces. I don't want to say like new protocols, but just like the school's gonna be run in a different way, which I think is something that our staff really needs. I look a little red in the eyes because I was a little teary-eyed driving to work today because, not that I don't love my job, but I had a good summer, like a really, really good summer. And so I am sad that today's Thursday, but I'm sad that come Monday, like I'm officially back on the clock and don't get to hang out with my husband and my dog every day. It's really cool to say husband now. That's an update from last school year, but I am ready to go move furniture, completely disregard whatever to-do list that I decide to write because it just never works the way that I plan. Have a bunch of thinking piles all over the room. Some things that I know going into the room, because this is already so scatterbrained. Some things that I know going into the room. Our admin team, before they left last school year, they shared that they were buying new chairs for the K through 2 classrooms because we all had a very wild assortment. And then they're letting us in significantly earlier than usual. I didn't want to come off as like that cute little newbie teacher, despite that I'm going into my 8th year in my own classroom, but year 10 in education. So I was like, I'm not going in the first week. But there were tables up for grabs because I think they also changed grades 3 through 5 from having all tables like primary does to having desks. So my new co-teacher, because one of the new staff members is my co-teacher. She started in January because my previous co-teacher resigned. She, as I said, she came in January. So like she came into a room that was already lived in and didn't get a chance to like make it the way she wanted. So she has spent some of these couple extra days making the room the way that she wants it to be for an entire school year being in it. That was a terribly phrased sentence, but I think you understand what I meant. So anyway, she went on the hunt for me and got me another rectangular table because one of my round tables is really small. It barely fits 4 children, especially with a caddy in the middle. Someone's worksheet is always being covered. So I have some plans. I didn't even write them in pencil. Like these are the kinds of plans that we're gonna just see what happens. I'm gonna move some shit and see if it works, see if it doesn't. So I'm gonna go head inside. My classroom should be unlocked, so I'm gonna drop off my lunchbox and my backpack, grab my keys from the main office ladies. So we're gonna go get started. This has been already a 4-minute introduction. All right, here's what we're working with. My bulletin paper stayed pretty well. Also, I didn't put any furniture out. Oh, it's so echoey. The custodial team kind of spread some things out. This one also looks like it's hanging up pretty well. There's some air bubbles maybe, but that's probably user error more than anything else. So yeah, sweet. I wish I could keep my phone there. Not really, actually. Oh, my new chairs are here. Excellent, excellent. I don't know how many there are, but there's a lot of them. Furniture. I am very tempted by this. And then my other rolly cart is in the closet. I am wildly, I doubt you're gonna be able to see it. Maybe you can, but the file crate is there. I feel really tempted to have this table here because just like coming in the room, I can be seen, right? So like if anyone comes through the door, they can clearly see me. They can see what the kids are doing, but the whiteboard's too far away. Last school year for a couple of months, maybe like 2 or so, this table did exist in this corner and I used this whiteboard for teaching. And it didn't work out. Like I have this weird chunk missing because of, I don't know, the structure of the building. And so it made my existence kind of weird. And so nothing really works quite as well as that one. However, one thing that I did learn from putting the table over there was it was not the end of the world if one of the kids' tables was over here on the tile, even though this is like far away from the board. Because for the most part, my students see what's on the board when we do like the whole group part of our lesson, and then they're off doing things independently that don't really require the visual of the board. Oh, okay, great. I hope that I was on frame for that. My very first year, I wanna say in the very first trimester, my ceiling started leaking. We couldn't determine where it was coming from. It was a very light leak, but like enough to ruin anchor charts that were hanging up, but like not enough that like the room couldn't be used or anything like that. It was just really light, but all the tiles were stained and all my stained tiles are gone. This is my favorite flavor, and I saved my first one of the season for today. Some furniture moving thoughts. Middle finger to the Wi-Fi. Took forever to log me in. So furniture thoughts. These chairs are terrible for not only stacking, but like sliding them. So I usually try to leave them in piles or like stacks. And then once I know where everything is going, then I'll put them at the tables. I'm going to have to decide where the tables go and immediately put the chairs in their places. And then, I don't know if I got it on camera or not, but I tested flipping the chairs, and they do fit on the tables. It'll be a little tight because my tables are narrow rather than wide, but they're gonna have to flip their chairs upside down this year versus stacking them, because these stacks are not gonna work, and they knock over so easily. Normally, if you've watched my setup videos before, normally when I come in, all of my furniture is in like a gigantic mountain on the carpet area, and having it spread out for me has, I think, actually kind of given me like a lighter mental lift, as like crazy as that might sound, just because it's just moving furniture. But I was thinking I might swap my math station's bookcase and laptops this year, just because the large bookcase is already over there. But then I just realized that's supposed to be my cozy corner. Why are decisions so hard to make? And I feel a lot of things. I feel less attached to having the laptops where I had them, because this year we're not letting the kids swap classrooms with the laptops. So for example, let's say Jennifer Aniston is #1 in my class, and Ben Affleck, great job coming up with A last name celebrities, and Ben Affleck is my co-teacher's #1. What we typically would do was the laptop was assigned just to Jennifer Aniston. She would hold it, bring it next door, and in the morning she would come in, if she was here before Ben Affleck, she would come and get #1, put it in its place, and put hers in, like she would swap them, right? So that way she's starting the morning with her laptop in the #1 spot for when she needs it. This year though, we're gonna have both #1s sign into the same computer in both rooms. So Ben and Jen will share laptop #1 in my room, and in my co-teacher's room, and on laptop #1 over there, Ben and Jen will share that laptop as well. So it used to be that my laptop storage needed to be in this corner because the kids could grab and go through the bathroom, because when they switch rooms, my co-teacher sends her kids through the front door and I send mine through the bathroom hallway. And then it was also really nice because the hallway kids would come in directly across the long end of the room, drop it off, read the board, sit on their dot spot. So now that no laptops have to be maneuvered, that one saves us, excuse me, that saves us a huge amount of transition time, but also doesn't limit me to having them over there. As long as they can just charge, who cares where they're at? But with new admin, who may not be up my literal butt about cozy corners, maybe it could be a different setup. All right, so I think I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna take the small bookcase that you just watched me put under the TV. I always use the other one for, oh my God, for laptops. The laptops just went, for laptops. I'm gonna try it where my horseshoe table currently is, or just like reverse where they were. I'm pointing at things that you can't see. I need to move my horseshoe table over here, move a bookcase over A to-do list would be ideal, but I just know I'm going to ignore it. Oh, and I have to get a table height adjusted. My new table is meant for big kids, so I have to get it moved down a notch. Okay, so my new table, I think you can see me, this is probably a great pose. My new table is very squeaky, which is fine, but you probably can't tell, but now you can tell a little bit better. This table is shorter, and that squeaky one is the same length as these. If no one else has gone that hallway and taken any of the other tables, I might go walk my shorter length one down, because granted, I haven't tried anything out with these chairs, but last year's chairs, you could just fit 3. Like, there was no pull out my chair, slide, like for the kids, slide my leg through and sit back down. It was like, my chair has to come out all the way. I have to sit on it and scooch my little body forward. Like, there was no room for their little calves. So I'm gonna actually go roll that down and see if I can stop it. I need to call my best friend. I need help. Okay, just got off the phone with my best friend and finally went to the bathroom. I say finally because I was holding it for a while, like since I moved the tables. Or moved the table, came back and realized, or brought my table down, discovered that hallway has no extra tables anymore, brought my table back. Yes, I could have done that with just my legs, but I didn't want to make the trip twice if I didn't have to, so I just made it once with extra labor. Anyway, I don't like the 4 tables and then the round one, like all linear. One of the 3rd grade teachers does it, that I used to have a lot of meetings in her room, so I thought I would just like see how it looks, but not doing it. And then I went over to my old cozy corner, tried to sit there and see like how that felt, and my whiteboard is actually closer to the floor. It's just like a couple of inches, but like whiteboard space is real estate, especially when you're teaching small group instruction, which is a huge chunk of my day. I do like at max 25 to 30 minute whole group lesson and then go immediately into 50 minutes of stations. And during those 50 minutes, I'm doing 3 15-minute rotations of small group instruction. So my horseshoe table is going to stay to my left, which is where it typically is every year. By the bathroom was a consideration. Then I also was talking to her about putting the laptops and the math stations in a different spot, like the math station bookcase. And then I realized that's not going to work either, because even though I like that having the taller bookcase kind of gives like a little wall in the cozy corner, then like there's just going to be more interruptions. Like if kids have to get their laptops, they do it at the beginning of the station and they return it during cleanup. It's 2 quick visits, right? No one's really going to go over there otherwise, unless they need their laptop for something. Again, pretty rare that they would need in the middle of a station, but like needing an early finisher worksheet, needing to go back and get something for collaboration, getting a extra practice skills workbook, visitors, like that is a frequently visited spot. So I am gonna go put those 2 things back as well. It's fine. It's really not the end of the world that it's the same layout for at least the big furniture, but I'm just gonna still try to figure out how to rotate the tables maybe, just to feel more primary friendly. Is how to not phrase words into a sentence or string words into a sentence. So I flipped my mailboxes to put it by the doorway. I'm going to keep behind where this camera is, the cozy corner area with the laptops there. That big bookcase, you should be able to see it, is behind me. With 4 rectangular tables, I've kind of got a flow going on. I need to next take down, they're on top of the cabinets, all my Sterilite drawers, like the 3 drawers that we keep like our folders and books in, and put those out, and then just kind of see what like slight adjustments need to be made, because now that I have 4 rectangular tables, that means only 1 table won't have their organizer, simply because a round table does not really mesh well with a flat-edged organizer. And I don't have any curriculum materials yet, which is fine. But oh, the laptop buckets, so like kind of just getting out bigger pieces, but not yet decor. Like I'm not gonna hang out my Taylor Swift thing right now. I say that and I'm probably going to do it. Actually, I also want to show you what I bought as a teacher over the summer, who's going into her 8th year with her own classroom, 10th year in education overall. I feel like it's really important to know that you don't have to buy everything that is cute. So I'm gonna actually quickly bring you over to my sink area, give you a quick rundown of what I got, and then start doing all that furniture takeout. Okay, so for starters, this is a new backpack. As I have progressed in my career, I have wanted to take less and less home with me and just make it fit in a school day. And if it doesn't fit, learning to be okay with it. Again, not gonna divulge details as I shared earlier, but there's a reason why half of our staff quit last school year into this school year. And so it was really, really difficult to try to fit things in a school day. And so one thing that I did was shortly after we got married in November, I switched from my blue JanSport backpack to a like Michael Kors kind of like purse that was literally big enough to hold my laptop, my badge, and my Kindle, like literally nothing else. And while that helped me not be able to take home anything else other than like quarter-size exit tickets from the day, it made it really difficult to keep my water bottle. If I was doing something after school, I couldn't even like fit a t-shirt in the bag to change into after school. And then I don't mind having like the purse, but the purse is one strap, right? So then not balanced. Then I had the lunchbox, and then I had the water bottle. So like, then my hands are full trying to get in the building, and God forbid I had to bring anything else that day. So I got this new backpack. It does not hold as much as my JanSport, but it is also carry-on sized. So this was like, you know, a 2-function or multi-purpose bag. I bought this black canvas, and I already owned vinyl, but I'm a big Hamilton fan, so I made this for the classroom. I've had this plan for years and just never acted on it. This is small, it fits, I can hang it with a magnet with a push pin on a doorknob. Okay, so I technically bought the canvas. Now, hear me out on this. I used a Target gift card to buy this, and because I used my money, not school money, this doesn't belong to the school, but I use gift cards from families. So it also feels kind of nice that I'm using this in the classroom because it was given to me with gift cards from families. But my plan is bulletin board that's closest to my door. I'm actually going to change it this year to be SEL themed, so social emotional learning themed. And I'm going to use my PTO money to buy the film because it comes with not even one piece of film to take a picture and practice. But I'm going to take pictures of the kids doing different things like using growth mindset and these are scraps. I keep them for my confetti. Bought 3 of these. One, I did not buy this. This is my laser. 2, 3. Because, is this locked? No, it's not. These things. I feel so bad for our lunch and recess pairs when we have indoor recess and the kids are playing with these. And then they spend 5 whole minutes trying to get these back in. So we're just gonna dump these into there, and they were $1. So if it sucks, but it's fine. Then, because small group instruction is so important, I have notebooks these are like my teacher notebooks for each group. So everything my group does throughout the entire school year is, you know, logged in here. So 2 classes, so 2 colors of each, but pink mochas, yellow Americanos, my green macchiatos, blue espressos, and my purple lattes. So these are just meant for me. I'll keep in my rainbow organizer, 1 per class. And like I said, everything that I do with my group, even if the kids switch groups, if they go from being a pink mocha to a blue espresso, I know everything the group has done, and then they just have their own learning tracked in there. These are field trip forms that I forgot to take out of my JanSport from last year, so I'm not taking those out. And then literally the last thing I bought was a planner. I have not used a paper planner since my first year here because we ended up switching over to digital lesson plans and I had no say in the matter. And so because we have a lot of new things happening this year, I wanted to go back to paper. I really like having a paper planner. I like having somewhere to take notes all the time, somewhere to doodle. And I already added things to this, so I might do a different, like a quick little video of how I'm going to use it this year. I don't know. That seems really ambitious for someone who doesn't want to do extra work. But yeah, that's literally it, because then my computer is in here. So that's literally all I bought this summer, was with a gift card, $3. I think these were maybe 50 to 60 cents each, and I bought 12. You can do that math. And the planner. So as a, I guess now veteran teacher, this is what we buy. Just the absolute essentials.